everyone, this is TikTok Tarot. Welcome to this reading about what changes are springing up. Today we'll be covering the areas of your life that are experiencing change, what those changes are, any obstacles or challenges associated with that change, the outcome of the change, and any messages from Spirit about how to navigate them. We have 4 piles today. Pile 1 is a little blue bunny. Pile 2 is a little ducky with a bow. Pile 3 is a decorated egg. Pile 4 is a little chick. Please pick based on whatever is resonating with you. Please feel free to hit pause and take as much time as you need. Without further ado, let's get started. Hello, Pile 1. Thank you so much for joining me today for this timeless reading about changes popping up for you this spring. We'll start the reading by rolling some astro dice to see what areas of your life are experiencing change, and we'll pull tarot cards to see what the change is, any obstacles or blockages that may hinder that change, and the ultimate outcome in your life from the change. And we will end the reading pulling some message cards from Spirit about how to navigate these changes. So let's get started. So first, roll the astro dice, kind of everywhere. So we have 11th house, which is community and network. We have 10th house, which is career and reputation. And then we have the 2nd house of finance. Starting with changes in the 11th house, we have the 5 of Swords. For obstacles or challenges involving this change, we have the Empress. And then the ultimate outcome of this change, we have the 7 of Wands. So what I'm seeing for changes in the 11th is that you have been on a journey of self-growth or self-discovery. You're looking at things in your life, what things you want to continue to take on, what things you want to release. And through change, often people are lost along the way, either because the new values don't align with them, or honestly, sometimes when people change, other people don't want to change, and it becomes hard, so they get left behind. These are some very disinterested bunnies on sort of this journey that the standing bunny is going to be going on to. What would hinder this change is sort of a comfort zone area. Obviously, as we start to move and grow and change, it's uncomfortable, and not to scare you on the outcome, but it is a continuous journey. And so our own dependence on the people or things in our lives or bad habits can be a hindrance to this change. But ultimately, with the 7 of Wands, the bunny still is defending himself, but he has the high ground, to quote Star Wars. And I see you really embracing this new you, these new habits. And while maybe you might still have to defend them to people in your life, I think you're really growing from them and being able to stand tall in yourself. Now for changes in your 10th house of career and reputation, for the change, we have the Queen of Pentacles. For challenges or obstacles, we have the Page of Swords. And for the ultimate outcome on this, we have the 3 of Cups. So what I'm seeing for a change is a promotion or a new job, something you've wanted for a while. I think maybe you are this page bunny it's something you've been looking forward to, or something you've been kind of striving for, an opportunity. And the queen looks very heavy-hearted on this, and I think because internally you are in this new role, in this queen role, but you are still having page mentality. Swords are our thoughts, and I think in a challenging role, this is fear that maybe you are all talk, or that this thing where you're like, oh, if only I had this new job, or if only I did this, I could do X, Y, and Z. And now you've been given this opportunity, you've earned this opportunity, and you're questioning whether or not you can really make those changes, follow through on all that you've said. But ultimately you are ready. Those are just your thoughts. They are not the reality. And I see you being really successful in this new position. Three of Cups is celebratory. It's exciting. And ultimately, yeah, I see you being really successful in this new role. And you just need to remind yourself that you are not your thoughts, and that you are very capable. Lastly, we have changes in your second home of stability, finances, things of that nature. So for that change, we have the Two of Cups. Challenges or obstacles to this change, we have the Six of Pentacles. And the ultimate outcome for this, we have the Queen of Wands. So my two interpretations of this change with the Two of Cups here is, one, if you are dating someone, you have a significant other, there's some merging of the finances. Maybe you're moving in together, maybe you're getting married. The idea that you are now kind of joining your two cups into one to create, further stability in your life. If you're not seeing anyone, I'm seeing a partnership of some sort. Maybe you're going into business with someone. Maybe you're starting a D&D game with your best friend. Maybe you're working on a creative project with someone. There is sort of an alliance. Or you could also be just moving in with a friend. It's the idea of two people sort of sharing resources to build something better. The challenge here versus in the other areas where I feel like they were very internal challenges is an external one. The Six of Pentacles talks about equality, fairness, generosity. And I think in a challenging place, I think it's learning the balance of a power dynamic, learning how to give and take, and working with someone on that. So I think Pentacles and whatnot, you're really seeing an external, anytime you're kind of merging with another person in your personal life or your business life, you just have to relearn that dynamic. So that is a challenge. But ultimately, with the Queen of Wands here, I think this venture is successful. Queen cards really symbolize that comfort. King and Queen, very comfort, very stable. So I think if it's a financial endeavor, it is lucrative. If you're moving in, it's a comfortable, happy home. If it's a creative project or a creative collaboration, I see a lot of really fruitful ideas coming from it. So on the whole, very exciting changes here. And lastly, we're going to pull some Moonology Oracle cards to just provide any advice to you for navigating these changes ahead. We have nothing is yet set in stone with the mutable moon. And it's time to release negativity with the full moon in Scorpio. I think it's a mutable moon versus a fixed full moon. I do think what these are really telling you is there could be, especially with a lot of these changes, a negative mindset, a limited mindset. And it's important to remember that challenging times are not permanent, prosperous times are not permanent, and we can continue to move and grow and to try and help release some of these negative limiting thoughts we have about ourselves. And those are all the message I see for pile 1. Thank you so much for joining me today in this reading. It's been a pleasure to spend time with you and your energy. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to hear about new readings, and also feel free to check me out on TikTok and Instagram for even more. See you next time. Hello, pile 2. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's get started on today's reading. Changes popping up for you. To start off this reading, we will roll some astro dice to see what area of your life is going to see change. Then we will have 3 tarot cards, one for the change itself, any obstacles or hardships impacting the change, or the occurrence of the change and the outcome for that change. And then lastly, we will pull some oracle cards to provide any messages and guidance for you navigating these changes. Let's get started. So we have actually 2 of them with 4s, so big changes in your home life, I'm seeing. And then in the 6th house, which is health and routine. So since we have 2 changes showing up in the house, we'll kind of look at those together jointly, and then we'll look at your 6th house changes. So the 2 changes we're seeing in the 4th house are 1, Ace of Pentacles, and 5 of Swords. Obstacles for these changes are the 4 of Cups, and the Ace of Wands. And the ultimate outcome for this change is Temperance, and the 8 of Cups. So reading this together, I think you have an amazing opportunity coming up. Either a new job that would cause you to relocate that you're very excited about, or maybe you now have the financial means to move or live somewhere you always wanted to go, and it is causing conflict in the home, either with a significant other or someone you live with, or maybe your family. Maybe you're close to them, maybe they're physically close to you, and this change would bring distance to that. And this change to your location, I think, has 2 options. A new normal, a new balance, or maybe leaving some things behind as you head off to this new journey. I think both have benefits. I don't want it to feel like, oh, you're leaving people behind and that's like a bad outcome versus balance. I think that you are maybe a little fixed on the plan as you see it, and there is no wiggle room. I think, both of these cards have a little paw holding a cup and a wand or a carrot, like out there. I think if you're mindful on the situation, there might be an alternate route, something outside of the very binary code maybe you're finding yourself in, which is what's leading to this conflict. And ultimately, I think you're going to feel positive about this experience. Whatever choice you choose, you are going. I'm seeing that you are leaving. You are going to reach a new balance. It is a question, though, of are there things you're going to leave behind, people you're going to leave behind, or are those things coming with you? They'll be like, the question, are these good cups or are they empty cups that we can leave? So I think a move, a new opportunity, a change in the home is coming. I ultimately see the change being really good for you. But I think as you're moving through it, there's going to be a lot of conflict from those around you. Either those like truly and immediately impacted by the move, if you're living with someone, living with friends, significant other who are physically impacted by if you move, are they moving, and so on, or even sort of in the greater space around you. Maybe you have family members that don't want you to move away, and this move they don't understand, and it's causing conflict. So the universe is just asking to not become so fixed on my thoughts are the right way, the only way, and this is how it has to be done, to kind of be open to hearing other ideas or any other sort of opportunity perspectives that could maybe, ultimately still lead to a win-win scenario. And know that your choice is your own, and as long as you're good with it, that's all that matters. For changes in your 6th house, we have the 5 of Wands. For hardships or obstacles to that challenge, we have the World. And last, for the outcome of this change, we have the 8 of Pentacles. So a lot of conflict, a lot of conflict in this change coming up for you, pile 2. With the 5 of Wands here, in your 6th house, which is your sort of daily life, habits and routines, things of that nature, is, I think, everything in your life is going to get turned up to 11. I think you're going to be getting more work responsibilities, home responsibilities, social, requests, personal, health and habit things. I think a lot of things are going to start trying to get at your time, and you're going to feel maybe a little overwhelmed, a little challenged. And I think with this change, there's going to be this desire to try and do it all. The World represents completion, but sort of as an obstacle, I think it represents incompletion. I think a drive to do everything is going to lead to the completion of nothing. And with the World, I think you are being asked to evaluate these requests on your time. And I think this focus, as not that I advocate procrastination, but if you wait till the last minute, it only takes 1 minute. But I do think focusing on what is important to you, I think you're going to come out of this with that passion, with that focus, because the things that are going to get done, you're going to give your time to. And I think cutting out maybe some of the noise, some of these other requests on your time, ultimately are going to lead to a success for yourself. Sort of 5 is conflict and change, and 8 represents success, control. And I think on the whole, pile 2, you are in a time of great change, and with that change, great conflict. And I think on the other side of all these changes is a you who has evaluated and focused on your priorities to provide yourself a new balance, a new normal, to be successful where you want to be successful, in what area and where that is, I think is ultimately the goal for you. And, that's a great place to be in after this. Unfortunately, sometimes it's only in these trying times where so much is being asked of us can we really think, but what is it that I want? And am I even moving towards that? So, Yeah, so to wrap this up, we're going to pull from the Moonology Oracle deck just to see any messages for you during these sort of changes in your life, any guidance or anything like that. Card fell out on the floor, so that here is your Moonology card. Third quarter moon, adjustments are required. The universe sort of, I think, is reiterating that the message of change and adjustment. You know, third quarter moon, we're almost at a full moon. I think you are sort of on a precipice of a big accomplishment, success, but that changes are, you know, always needed. I think as we're moving through conflict, it's, I think, easy to get fixed. This is the plan, this is how it has to be, and this is why we're, you know, in conflict. But adjustments can and are required, and we should always be reevaluating to make sure we're moving towards the thing that we want. And, you know, it's always easier, I think, to say when we're not in that energy, but something to just be mindful of no matter where you're moving. If you have a plan, you know, plans are really more like guidelines, and knowing that we might need to adjust in order to stay focused on what our ultimate goal is. So thank you so much, Pile 2, for joining me for this reading. It's been a pleasure spending this time with you and your energy. Don't forget to subscribe if you would like to see more videos in the future. Also, check me out on TikTok or Instagram. See you next time. Hello, Pile 3. Thank you so much for joining me today for this timeless reading about what changes are popping up in your life this year. I'm going to start the reading by rolling some astro dice to see what areas of your life these changes are occurring in, and then we will pull 3 tarot cards, one to represent the change itself, one to represent any challenges or obstacles to this change, and we will pull one to represent the ultimate outcome of this change in your life. And then we will end the reading by pulling some oracle cards to provide any additional guidance or messages for you as you navigate these changes. So let's get started. So first we have 9th house, which is travel and higher education. Then we have the 11th house of community network. And lastly, we have the 3rd house of communication, childhood, siblings. So starting with your changes in the 9th house, we have the 6 of Pentacles. For obstacles or challenges to this change, we have the Judgment card. And for the ultimate outcome, we have the 10 of Wands. So the 9th house deals with travel and higher education. And with the 6 of Pentacles here, I'm seeing an opportunity for you to travel or take on, you know, new education. So that could be at your job, having the opportunity to travel for work, or maybe they have changed their education policy to reimburse you so you can go take that class or get that degree that you wanted. Maybe for a few of you, there's a friend or family member who is able to take you on a trip with them, where they're able to cover some of those costs. So it's very exciting. And a challenge or an obstacle to this is sort of your own doubts to move forward on this opportunity. It feels like too good to be true, or like it's really great, but not for you. Just sort of thinking in like the Artist Way book, when the idea that the universe is moving to provide you the opportunities for the things that you want, because the wants are given to you by the universe, but people will often sidestep those opportunities because they're afraid of them, or they don't really think those opportunities are for themselves, and that's really a limiting belief. And so a little bunny trumpet, you're being called to sort of bring attention to those thoughts, and that they're not valid, they're not really real, and that these opportunities are for you. And then the outcome is this Ten of Wands energy. And what I like about this card versus this in some other decks where you feel like the man is carrying all these sticks, he's hunchback and it's really hard, it's a lot of work. With the Ten of Wands here with the bunny, he's standing upright. Honestly, looks like he has no problem carrying those carrots off to be enjoyed. And so I feel like this opportunity is going to increase your workload, but carrots, bunnies enjoy carrots, and it's stuff that you're going to enjoy. So you are going to be taking on this work, but you're going to be able to manage it, and it's something that's going to be really exciting for you going forward. Next, we have changes in the 11th house. We have the Hermit card as the change. To represent challenges and obstacles, we have the Emperor. And the ultimate outcome of this is the Chariot. So 11th house is network and community, and I'm really seeing you take a step back from all of that. A change of yourself. Maybe you've been in a really busy period, or a lot of birthdays, a lot of all this stuff, and you're just taking time out for yourself. You just feel a little counterintuitive as we are entering the summer, which tends to be a more social time. And maybe that's what that Emperor energy represents, Aries, like fun and out there. But I think you are really feeling called to sort of take a beat, sit with yourself. Maybe this change is driven by whatever this opportunity is in your 9th house, that a lot of work is coming and you're trying to stay focused, and figure out what balance looks like. The Chariot, moving forward with dark and light, horses in front pulling. And I think taking this time, this beat before, or to recover from a very busy time, is going to allow you to be very successful and move forward quickly. He's also holding a little carrot. So I think that this new workload and taking the time to evaluate before all of that drops maybe is very helpful. And the last is your changes in your 3rd house. We have the Magician. The Fool for obstacles and challenges. And the ultimate outcome is the High Priestess. I'm just going to clean these up a little bit. So what I'm feeling with the Magician in the 3rd house for your change is creation energy. If you kind of don't have a thought on it already, I'm seeing maybe an idea for your own YouTube channel or podcast or Instagram, something where you get to create and sort of communicate with others and express yourself. And with this idea and the Fool as sort of a challenge or an obstacle to it, I think a fear of being foolish, the Fool is reckless, not looking as he's walking. I think that's how we all kind of feel when we start something new and are in sort of that beginner energy. It can be a little scary, but ultimately, if you do take that leap, I do see that with this change, you reach a new understanding for yourself. I think whatever this creative channel that you're looking to express yourself with, helps you use your inner voice and put it out there to be more in your high priestess energy, which is your intuition, the divine feminine energy, I think really speaks to it really just speaks to sort of putting yourself out there and providing your expertise, your guidance for others to receive in. With pile 3, there's a lot of major arcana energy in a lot of these changes. I feel you are really stepping into, your authentic self and a powerful version as we, embrace our own authenticity. So these are very exciting changes for you, and we will pull some oracle cards to see if there's any guidance or additional messages regarding this exciting change period in your life. So we have new moon in Pisces, meditate and contemplate. So with this new moon in Pisces, meditate and contemplate card, I put it here because it's in the center, but I do feel like it's really tied to this hermit energy in 11. Taking quiet time to sit with yourself, to hear yourself, I think can help illuminate what we want and provide clarity. These things can, in meditation, in silence, in thinking about our lives, I think maybe we can see what opportunities we would like to grow ourselves, places we'd like to see, or interests that we have, or projects we'd like to start. And then separately, it seems like a lot of big changes are happening for you. Meditation can help quiet it when the world gets a little busy, when our plates get a little full. So I think it's both good for the start and, and the end of the journey as you're about to go on. So pile number 3, thank you so much for joining me for this reading today. It's been a pleasure to spend time with you and your energy. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to hear about new readings, and also feel free to check me out on TikTok and Instagram for even more tarot content. See you next time. Hello, pile 4. Thank you so much for joining me today for this timeless reading about changes popping up in your life. We're going to start this reading off by rolling some astro dice to see what areas of your life these changes are going to occur in. Then we're going to pull 3 tarot cards to represent the change itself, any obstacles or challenges to the change, and then the ultimate outcome of the change in your life. And then we will end the reading by pulling from an oracle deck to provide any messages or guidance to help you navigate these changes. So let's get started. So we have ninth house of travel and higher education. We have the 8th house of business deals, secrecy. We'll look more into that. And then we have the 2nd house, its counterpart in the birth chart, of finances. So starting with the 9th house changes, we have the 4 of Wands, obstacles and challenges. We have the Hierophant, and the ultimate outcome is the World. So this is really interesting. The 4 of Wands here, what I'm feeling is not so much a change in your like ninth house, but a love connection with a meeting sort of in an area kind of covered or reflected. So maybe you're meeting someone while you're on vacation, or someone meets you while they're on vacation, or if you're starting a new program or a new semester or quarter and you meet someone in a certain class. I think you're meeting a significant soul connection in the upcoming months. And sort of this obstacle to it, the Hierophant represents sort of structures and traditions, that there may be challenges to your union. Again, if it's sort of a foreigner situation, maybe just logistically they live in another country and they're going home soon. Maybe they're in a relationship when you meet them. They're just in a weird position where they can't really date you. Obviously not advocating any sort of HR violations, but I think there's some challenges to your union, some structural, physical obstacles, barriers to it. But I think this connection, with the world could be a significant, soulmate, soul union connection. You're able to sort of work past the structural based obstacles in your way. Because the second and the eighth house are opposite each other in your birth chart, they are somewhat related in that way. I think I want to look at these two changes together. So for under the eighth house, we have the Four of Swords for the change. For the obstacles, we have the Ten of Wands. And for the outcome, we have the Empress. And for changes in the second house, we have Justice, the King of Wands, and the outcome we have the Page of Pentacles. So for the changes in your eighth and second house, we're seeing sword energy. I think there's a lot of ideas, but Justice is about balance, about truth. The Four of Swords is about rest. I think there's an energy of like taking a bit to sort of sit with your business ideas. Wand energy here is fire. It's action energy. I think this group has a really strong work ethic. That's really admirable. But sometimes if we just move, we can put energy into things that maybe we're not that passionate about, maybe artfully thought out, or are just not a good idea. The Ten of Wands, even though this bunny is upright and carrying your carrots, which he loves, that's still a full armful there. He has a lot on his plate. The King of Wands energy is not just about the creation ideas, but the implementing of them sort of arrogantly in sort of a detriment or in a reversal position. And I think either you've been coming from this energy, this like go, go, go energy, or you're just moving and making decisions, maybe because other people are pushing you towards them. And I think you're changing and moving into a more receptive energy, one for greater clarity on situations, to stop and to rest and to really look at your business dealings, your values, your finances, and bringing that clarity to yourself. And I think the outcome of taking this rest to taking this pause and reevaluating yourself is a clarity on maybe a new source of income. Maybe the job that you're working at isn't very good. Maybe a deal that you've been offered isn't that good, or maybe there's a better deal out there or a different thing. And this period of reflection, of kind of stopping that go, go, go energy will help lead you to being, a little more in your divine feminine energy, a receptive energy, and maybe putting yourself in a position to not, have to be going so hard. Maybe to finding positions that are a little more natural to you, or something that would just, challenges are good because they push us, but everything doesn't need to be challenging all the time. So I think you're coming into a period of slowing down, a period of holding off. I know we just came out of retrograde, so that's when this reading is being put up originally, but, I think you're entering a time period of really evaluating your business deals, your values, kind of stopping an internal push to just move and action, yang, divine masculine, like oriented energy. And I think you're coming out of this on the other side with new clarity about your values, maybe a new financial goal, leading to a more comfortable life. So moving on to the Oracle deck, we will see if there's any additional messages to help you move through these changes, navigate them. So new moon in Libra, a new romantic cycle begins. Obviously, I think clearly up here with that Four of Wands in the first change, I do think there's a very literal meaning to that. Libra, traditionally over like the seventh, in a standard thing, is business partnerships and things of that nature. So potentially kind of tying to this ending or waiting to a new cycle of, financial prosperity. I think also scales, justice. I think this is really also reflecting kind of on this energy here, being too much in a masculine or in a fire, a taking, a moving energy. I think the new moon in Libra, it's about balancing, it's about giving and receiving in equal part. And I think, everything we do is a dance with the universe. And I think the universe is asking you to take a little step back to try and receive guidance and information as you move on to these new energies. So that is all I'm seeing right now. So thank you, Pile 4, for joining me today in this reading. It's been a pleasure to spend this time with you and your energy. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check me out on TikTok and Instagram for even more tarot content. See you next time.